So a couple of weeks ago, I got a message from someone and they were asking me to make a video talking about the journey behind my YouTube channel. Basically shedding more light on what inspired me to start the channel, my motivation behind it, and what I dream to achieve with the channel or from the channel. And I thought to myself, what a brilliant idea, because I am always looking for a video idea. So when that came through, I was like, thank you. So to the person who gave me this idea, I'm dedicating this video to you. Thank you so much. So let's get right into it. I started this channel in May of 2020. That is when I posted my first ever video, if my memory serves me well. It was right in the thick of the pandemic. We all know what I'm talking about. And that is the main thing that I remember about it. Everywhere was looking like a ghost town. There were hardly any people around, especially where I lived at the time. Although I started the channel in 2020, I had been thinking of starting a YouTube channel for at least 3 years by that time. The first time that I wanted to start a channel was in 2017, and I remember it was inspired by these other content creators that I was coming across on YouTube. I had just gotten like really into YouTube, and I used to research a lot about my disability, my condition. I was looking for certain things, and somehow I ended up coming across different videos from a lot of different creators. The common ground was all of these creators had a disability of some sort. I was actually actively seeking for content creators who had disabilities, and I was fascinated, just listening to them, seeing them sharing stories from their lives or showing how they do certain things like transfers, how they cook with limited hand functions, how they drive cars using hand controls if their legs don't work. A lot of fascinating stuff. But then I quickly realized that most of these were coming from the West, and by the West I mean like first world countries where there were resources. Most of them were people of means. They had the money to buy assistive devices and all these cool disability related machines or gadgets. And I said to myself, wow, this is really cool, but how much does someone from my end of the world relate to this? Because let me tell you, disability looks quite different, especially from an African perspective. We hardly see any of those assistive devices this part of the world, or if you do see them, they are so prohibitively expensive, so much that you can never ever afford to have one yourself. So I was living vicariously through these people, but then I also started to become aware of the fact that although our struggles generally as people with disabilities are the same globally, there tends to be differences in the sense that some countries are more advanced when it comes to catering for the needs of people with disabilities. So I was like, we need more content creators with disabilities from Africa, talking about disability from an African perspective. I thought I was the guy to do it, but then I started thinking, what am I gonna do in those videos? Because I don't have cool cars that I drive using hand controls. I don't even have a personal car. I'm somebody who still has to use public transport, which is a nightmare, especially if your country does not have accessible public transport for disabled people. Another reason why I also decided to start the channel is I had realized that there was a lot of misunderstanding between people with disabilities and the non-disabled counterparts. Growing up and going through life with a disability, I had experienced firsthand some of the negative impacts of people's negative perceptions towards disability in general. I had been discriminated against, I had been chastised by some people, I had been unfairly criticized, mistreated, whatever. People with disabilities go through a lot. I started asking myself whether some of the treatment that I thought was unfair that I had gone through had happened because people are intrinsically negative or cruel towards disabled people, or could there be a possibility that people actually didn't understand much about disabilities and how that whole world works? I decided to take the empathetic route, where I thought maybe people just need to be educated, people need to be informed, so that we can deal with this misinformation and stereotyping that is so rampant when it comes to disabilities. And that's why I started this channel, to give people that information, to say that, hey guys, I know that a lot of you feel a little bit uncomfortable around people with disabilities, but you don't have to. These are the things that you need to keep in mind, that you are talking to a fellow human being. All you need to do is to be respectful, just like you would to anybody else. Just to talk about basics like that, and to say you don't need to fear being around people with disabilities. We don't bite, we are friendly, we talk, our lives are pretty much normal. We are not always in hospitals or in pain, although that's sometimes true. It's not always the case. We have responsibilities like anybody else. We can also live full productive lives. That's why I started this channel, honestly, just to show that life with a disability is not that out of the ordinary as most people might think. So I've always jogged and said that my motto for this channel is demystifying disability, one video at a time. So basically, that was my motivation behind starting this channel. Oh, there was also another reason that I'd forgotten to talk about. The time when I started this channel, I was feeling very lonely, mostly because it was during the pandemic and I couldn't hang out with people or visit friends and family, and I was living very secluded because I'm someone who has a compromised immune system because of my spinal cord injury. So I didn't want to risk catching on the Rona, so to speak. So I was keeping to myself a lot, and it was quite lonely for me. So the channel was actually a way of just finding something to do with my time, and also to build a community that I could hang out with, that I could talk to, that I could engage with. And I'm so happy to say that I finally have that community. Whenever I'm feeling lonely and I come on here and I start talking to you guys, or I post a video and then you're interacting with it, or I post in the community tab, I really feel good about myself, and I thank you for that. So that was also another reason why I started this channel, to have friends. My first video, oh, it was so intimidating. I didn't know anything about videography or camera settings, and I also didn't have the equipment. And for the longest time, I hadn't started a YouTube channel because I didn't have a camera, and I thought, I don't have a camera, I don't have lights, I don't have microphones, so how am I gonna do videos? But then through learning and researching, I realized that all I needed was my mobile phone. So I started recording videos on my mobile device, and I didn't have anything fancy, I promise you. I still don't. Even when you go back to my videos and really look at them, some people would ask me if I had a camera, and I said, no, I don't. I just use my phone. The learning curve was quite steep. I remember the very first video that I shot, we thought we would wrap it up in about 20 or 30 minutes or so, because I just wanted it to be a 2-minute long video and official introduction to the channel. But the joke was on me, guys. We ended up taking 6 good hours to make a 2-minute long video, and by the time we got done with it, it was dark. It was a mess. I almost didn't post it because I also didn't know how to edit videos. I still don't, but I think I'm a little bit better than I used to be. I'm getting better with each day. I have this crazy friend of mine. His name is Levi. Levi is a professional media person, like videography and stuff like that. He does it on a professional level. But this guy, although he was pestering me to start a YouTube channel, he wouldn't help me. I remember I would call him and ask him questions. Dude, how do I do this? And he'll be like, you know what? You need to learn this for yourself and figure it out. I was very surprised that I was actually able to edit a video. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to do it at all. So Levi, thank you so much, dude. Like, you threw me into the deep end and I had no option but to learn how to swim. As soon as I posted the first video, I was very surprised by the feedback. People were actually quite encouraging. They were like, wow, this is really good. Like, keep it up. It takes a lot of guts to do this. And I was like, okay, I might actually just start doing this, because the more that I did it, the more comfortable that I became with the whole process. Even I think in front of the camera, I don't know, you guys in a better place to tell me, do you think my camera confidence has been growing? Of course, I'm still working on it, and the hope is that I'll become even much more confident with each video that I upload. One thing that surprised me a lot about being on YouTube is that you never know who your video is going to impact. Like, Like, for example, sometimes I'd question myself, like, there's a lot of entertaining stuff on YouTube. Who really wants to listen to boring stuff about disabilities? I know that a lot of people don't care about disabilities. That's what I thought, and that was my assumption, which was wrong of me. But I was extremely surprised to realize that most of the people who were actually subscribing to this channel or asking me questions were not even people with disabilities, or they were not even related to people with disabilities, but they were just people who took an interest to the information that I was sharing. And each time I would get a DM from somebody or a comment thanking me for what I just shared, or for the information, or for whatever that they said I taught them, it was quite humbling for me, and it gave me the fuel to keep going even when I wasn't feeling well or I didn't have the energy to make videos. I would always remember that one random comment of somebody who said, "Wow, thank you, I didn't even know about this, but because of you I've learned this and this." So it kept me going, and it still does even now. And then also there are people who go the extra mile to support you. For me, those are people who have been supporting me financially. I do get people sometimes DMing me on Instagram or on social media, asking me if they can get me anything. I got the camera that I'm using now from somebody. I also got the microphone that I'm using from a subscriber. Some have been donating to my Buy Me a Coffee page, or some people will ask for your PayPal just to support me so that I can keep on creating content. And it's very humbling, and it just shows you that there are people out there who appreciate whatever you are putting out there into the world. And I couldn't tell you properly or enough how much that means to me, no matter how much I tried. Going forth, I am hoping that the channel will continue to grow. Sky is not even the limit. The possibilities are endless. That's what I believe. So I'm just going to keep on making videos, making content, hoping that the channel will grow more and more and more and more and more until infinity beyond. My plan is to keep on creating disability related content. Not just that, even regular content as well, but just continue on with the mission to keep on demystifying disability, one video at a time. I'm not going away anytime soon. We are going to be together for the foreseeable future, actually, and I hope that you are as excited about that as I am. In a nutshell, I would say that is the story behind my YouTube channel. And of course, the story will continue to develop as I keep on doing this, and I can't wait to share those updates with you guys. I love you for your support. I love you for your friendship. I love you for all that you do to support me in my dreams. I appreciate every single one of you out there. Remember, your life is a gift. Make it count always.